Greetings. I have a radio that I can't test. Why? Because it's up in the 900 megahertz band. I have no meters, no nothing, except for a frequency counter that I can use to see what frequency it's actually transmitting on. So what I've done is I actually bought a meter. I found a meter that works up into the 900 megahertz band. I can test the power output and I can test SWR with it. So when I come back, I'll show you what my new toy is. I'll be right back. Greetings. This is Dave with Ham Radio GMRS Test and Review. My call sign is N8DAV, and the motto for my channel is one test is worth 1,000 expert opinions. Today I'm going to be playing around with my new Retevis RT10 HT walkie-talkie. Now, this is a 900 megahertz band walkie-talkie, and I don't really know much about it except for what the manufacturer states on their website. So I'm going to test it today. I'm going to test it for power, and I'm going to test the two antennas that I have for SWR, and then I'm going to take it out into my truck, and I'm going to mount it on my truck using the same devices that I use here in my little laboratory here, and also measure the SWR out on my truck because I'm going to take it mobile with me one of these days. So here I am, and I'll show you everything that I've got, and I'll be right back. So this is what I bought. This is a Redot. I'm sorry, I get that out of the reflection out of there. This is a Redot SWR power meter, but it goes up to 999 megahertz, which is just enough for my 900 megahertz radio. It does test for power, and it does give me the SWR. It gives me forward power and reflected power as well. So what I'll do is I'll put it out here on my bench, and I'll show you basically how it works. It's a very simple meter, and I'll get it all set up for you. I'll be right back. Now, this comes in a nice little plastic box, and it comes with two adapters because the ends of the meter are the N-type connectors. So this will these two will convert the N-type connectors to the PL259 and the SO239. And so I've got cables and other adapters that I can adapt to it. So I'll show you how I get everything all set up, and again, I'll be right back. Here are the two antennas that I'm going to be testing today. This one here is the stock OEM rubber duck antenna that came with the RT10. And this is a Motorola OEM antenna that came with some 900 megahertz walkie-talkies that I purchased for use on the 900 megahertz band, which didn't work out for me. For some reason, there's some compatibility issues, and I'm just not going to try and get them fixed. I'm just going to try and work around them. That might be another video for some other time. But it'd be nice to find out how well these antennas perform. And I'm going to put them on the NanoVNA as well. And let's see how everything works. All right, here I have my Redot SWR power meter. And I have the two adapters on there. You see that I put the male SO239 on the input side, and the PL259 on the input side, and the female SO239 on the output side. So I'm going to get everything connected up here, just so you can see. I have an adapter here. To bring the SO239 to a BNC female, and then I have my dummy load with a BNC male on it. And then over here, I have a cable which has a SO239 at one end and a BNC male on the other. I can make it. I have arthritic fingers here, so sometimes it makes things hard on me. And then I have the radio itself. I need to adapt it from the SMA male to BNC. All right, so here we go. Now, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put it on a channel that I know is not used. So let me turn it on.
Power on. Zone 1. 2.
Okay, I've got it on a channel that I know is not used. And so let's try looking and seeing what happens when I hit the PTT button. I get 0.85 watts, 0.82 watts, no reflected power, it went down to 0.79 watts, and a 1.0 SWR on the UHF frequency. So that's actually not too bad. It's a little bit less than I was hoping for. The radio is rated at 1.2 watts, or 1.2 watts. So let's try doing some different channels and see what kind of readings I get on that. All right, let's try channel 7. I'll get to you later as to what frequency it is. But I get about 0.82 watts in the beginning down to 0.79. So 0.79 seems to be the average power no matter what frequency in the 900 megahertz band that I transmit on. So, a little bit less than the 1.2. However, I have gotten about 20 miles with this line of sight. So directly to the repeater up on Mount Eldon from where I live. So, or not from where I was doing POTA activation a couple of days ago. All right. So that's what we're getting as far as that's concerned. I'll be right back. All right, let's try channel 7. I'll get to you later as to what frequency it is. But I get about 0.82 watts in the beginning down to 0.79. So 0.79 seems to be the average power no matter what frequency in the 900 megahertz band that I transmit on. So, a little bit less than the 1.2. However, I have gotten about 20 miles with this line of sight. So directly to the repeater up on Mount Eldon from where I live. So, or not from where I was doing POTA activation a couple of days ago. All right. So that's what we're getting as far as that's concerned. I'll be right back. All right. What I've done here is I've removed the PL259 adapter that goes from PL259 to BNC, right? And I put in its place a PL259 to SMA female. I'm sorry, SMA male, so I can screw the antenna into it because the antennas have the SMA female. All right, so I have the antenna connected directly, as you can see, to this. I have it sitting on top of my desk, so it's going to get some reflected power, but I will try it another way in a minute. And as you can see, the SWR is 3.85 on the stock OEM antenna. Now, I'm going to not show this to you, but I will come right back and tell you what it is if it's sticking vertically. Be right back. All right, I just did it vertically, and I got exactly the same SWR, 3.85. All right, and next I will do the Motorola stock OEM antenna. All right, and here's the stock Motorola antenna. All right, and let's try it. And I get, wow, I was not expecting that. Let's see, 1.98, I'm sorry, 2.32. I'm sorry, I had something interfering there. So I got 2.32 on there. So that's really not a bad SWR. A little bit better than the stock OEM antenna. All right, next time you see me, I'm going to be setting up my antenna test bed, and we'll test these antennas on the antenna test bed and see how well they do when they have a ground plane and a counterpoise attached to them, so they actually are tested the way they should be. All right, be right. All right. So now I'm going to remove the Motorola antenna. I'm going to take this off of here. this adapter with the SMA female on it, or male, I'm sorry. And I'm going to put my the PL259 back on there with the BNC female on that end. And I have the coax coming from my test bed going to that end of the antenna tester. And then I have this adapter right here, which has got a BNC on one side and the SMA male on the other, so I can screw my antennas into it and attach it to my magnetic mount, which I use for my antenna test bed. All right, so let's turn the meter back on. Let me hook it up to my radio.
Power on. Zone 1, 7.
I'm going to go
3, 1, 2.
All right. Channel 2, I know, is something that's not configured out here in Flagstaff, so let me try. This is the testing the stock OEM antenna that came with the Retevis RT10. Looks like I got an SWR of 1.00. That's excellent. All right, let me try the same thing with the Motorola antenna. I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. I've now got the Motorola OEM antenna on my antenna test bed. And let's use this Power-SWR meter to see what I get. And I get 1.00 SWR with 0.69. Yeah, 0.69 watts. All right. Next time you see me, I'm going to have my NanoVNA on here. Be right back. All right, I got the NanoVNA all set up to test the antennas on my test bed. And I've already set up and calibrated my NanoVNA for the 900 megahertz band from 902 to 928. I should have done from 900 to 930, but I didn't do that. So anyway, so the repeaters that I use out here transmit on the 902, the lower part of the band, and receive on 928, up at the high end of the band, or 927 actually. All right, so now that you know, I'm going to turn this on. Don't freak out. It's going to default to the 2 meter band, but I will recall the 900 megahertz band here. All right, so as you can see, let me just pause the sweep here. So I'm coming up with an SWR right up here of 1.826, which actually is not bad. I was kind of expecting worse than that, so that's great. So let me put the OEM antenna on, and I'll be right back with that. All right, I'm back. And now I'm going to unpause the sweep. I have already connected the OEM RT10 antenna. So let's go back. I'll undo the sweep and we'll pause it again. And the SWR on that antenna is 1.991. So pretty close. The two antennas are pretty close. The curves are even very similar to each other. So there you go. We've got getting some interesting SWR readings. How accurate they are, not really sure, but you know, it's we do this for comparison purposes only, not necessarily for accuracy purposes. But we do know now that we are dealing with antennas that are really don't seem to be too bad for what they are. All right, so here we are. Next time you see me, I'm going to be mounting this out of my truck. I'm going to be putting these HT antennas up on top of my truck, and I'm going to see what it's like kind of in the real world. And then I'm going to maybe drive around a little bit and maybe hit a couple of repeaters. All right, be right back. All right, you can see this is my 2023 Toyota 4Runner. I've got the signal stuff magnetic mount right in the center of the roof. I've got the OEM 900 megahertz antenna. Got the coax running in through the back window up here to the front. I've got the meter right here with the radio, and I will show you what I'm using. Here's my radio. Here's the meter. I'm going to hit the PTT button, and we get an SWR of, sorry for the glare, of 1.00 with 0.66 watts. I think that's doing okay. So next thing I'm going to do is try putting on the Motorola antenna, and I'll be right back. All right, now I have the Motorola antenna on the mount. I'll hit the PTT button, and it didn't change. Shows that it's receiving. Let me turn it off and turn it back on just to make sure. Okay, turn it back on. All right, we know everything's clear. And I also get 1.00 to 1 with 0.66 watts. Very good. Very similar antennas, as you can see. All right, I'm going to drive around a little bit, see if I can hit some repeaters. All right, be right back. If you like my content, please consider subscribing to my channel. I would really appreciate that. And if you want to be notified of any more videos that I put out, please click the subscribe. After you click the subscribe button, please click on the bell icon. That way you'll be notified every time I release a video. I average about 2 videos a week, so actually I think that's a lot more content than a lot of creators are putting out. So anyway, I would really appreciate all that. It helps the algorithm recognize my channel as being a good one, and I think that it's a pretty good channel. So anyway, I appreciate the support. Thank you very much. So you can see, I've got the Motorola antenna on the magnetic mount, and I'm going to go drive around a little bit. We're going to see if we can hit some repeaters, okay? Be right back. All right, here I am. I have my Retevis RT10. And I'm going to try to hit one repeater that I know I can hit because I'm very close to it. And you might not hear it very well, but let's see what happens. Oh. Oh. There we go. That's pretty good confirmation. All right, that particular repeater I should hit just about anywhere I go because it's on the top of Mount Eldon. And I will show you where Mount Eldon is right now. So I'm literally at the bottom of Mount Eldon. You can see where the repeater towers are. There and there. I'm about 2,000 feet below them. So you know I'm very close. All right, the idea of this exercise is to try and hit not the repeater on top of Mount Eldon, like I showed you, because I know I can hit that one just about anywhere I go in Flagstaff. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to hit, there's 2 other repeaters on channels 3 and 4, which I know are close enough. I should be able to hit just about anywhere. So I know I should be able to hit them as I go south. So I'm going to try doing that and seeing if I can hit some of those other repeaters as I go different places. And there's also a 4th repeater, which should be within range of me, which I've never been able to hit. So I'm going to try hitting those repeaters as well, or that repeater as well, and see what I can do. All right. So when you see me again, I will be in a place where I think I might be able to hit 2, if not 3, all 3 repeaters. All right. I'll be right back. All right. I've gone as far south as I want to go. I'm hoping that I can hit these other repeaters because they are farther south of me. However, in order to go south, I also have to go a bit west, and that is also taking me away from the repeaters just a little bit. So let me try the one on channel 4 first, since I think I'm on that channel. And let me see if I can hit it from here in Fort Tuthill. And I'm not able to hit that.
3,
Not able to hit 3.
2,
And I'm not able to hit 2 either. I should be able to hit
1.
All right, so I hit 1. I can see 1 from where I'm at. All right, well, it's a little disappointing, but listen, I'm going to try something else. I'm going to try going back up a little bit north, but then I'm going to try going east and see if I can hit something from as I'm going a little bit east. Okay, I'll be right back. Okay, that's channel 2. That means I can hear the repeater. I can't hit it, but I can hear it.
3, 4.
Okay, well, I heard that on channel 2 and channel 4, which are the repeater on channel 4 I've been able to hit in the past, and number 2 I've never been able to hit, but I did hear it, so it can hit me, so that's kind of interesting. And I'm in a good spot right now.
5, 4.
Can't hit 4.
3,
Can't hit 3.
2,
And I can't hit 2. But I can hear 2 and 4, so that means I'm sort of within range, getting close anyway. So, I don't know, I would consider that somewhat successful. Not completely successful, because I was not able to kerchunk the repeaters at all. But anyway, so when I come back, I'll kind of finalize everything, and I'll be right back. All right. So what did we learn today? Well, you know, this is what I do every day, and I don't always videotape what I do, because sometimes I feel like just the experimentation that I'm doing may not be so interesting to some of you. But some of you are telling me that you want to see what I do behind the scenes before I actually put it on video. So this is what I do, and this is what I did. So I'm using the Retevis RT10, 900 megahertz FM HT. And I'm using these 2 antennas. This is the OEM antenna that came with the RT10, and this is the Motorola antenna that came with a couple other 900 megahertz radios that I bought. And I put them on top of my truck and I drove around. And what I found is that even though on my back deck out here with one of the little antennas on the RT10, I can hit the repeaters that are on channels 3 and 4. I don't want to put out the frequencies on them, but I could never hit anything on channel 2. But what I did find out was while I was driving around, I still couldn't hit anything on channel 2, but I was able to hear it when somebody else had done something into the network. So I was able to hear channel 2, and I was also able to hear channel 3 and 4, but I couldn't hit either one. So apparently from my deck, I'm up high enough, because this is the highest place in Flagstaff, is about where I live. So apparently I'm high enough that I can, if I reach up way up high with the antennas, and I can hit channels 3 and 4. I can still never hit 2. But like I said, I heard 2. And I also heard 3 and 4. So yeah, that's basically what I learned. In other words, I'm a one repeater network kind of guy, unless I start going farther south and getting down to those repeaters down there a little bit closer. I found out 1 watt doesn't really go that far if you don't have a line of sight. However, over at Fort Tuthill, I'm about 9 or 10 miles away from my shack and Mount Eldon, and I'm able to hit that repeater on Mount Eldon about 9 or 10 miles away with less than 1 watt. About, what is it? I think it was 0.79 watts is what we were putting out. Also, too, I learned that the 20-meter band is open this morning. It's great hearing all kinds of people out there. Anyway, so that's what we learned, and so this is the kind of stuff that I do every day to try and learn more about the hobby, learn more about 900 megahertz, and and the other thing that I also learned is the last POTA activation I went on, about 18 miles from Mount Eldon, line of sight as the crow flies. I could see it from where I was sitting, and I was able to hit that repeater no problem, 0.79 watts, no problem. All right, so basically, 900 megahertz is really not a very good frequency to play on doing simplex point to point. It's really, you really need a repeater in order to be able to do anything significant on it. And if you're going to do that, then you need to basically be line of sight to the repeater. So I'm very lucky out here in Flagstaff. Mount Eldon is 2,000 feet above us. We're at 7,000 feet. Mount Eldon is at 9,000 feet. So I can go just about anywhere and be able to look up and see the top of Mount Eldon. I can hit anywhere I want to with this radio. So anyway, that's it for the day. The network that repeater is attached to goes into Nevada. It goes into California and all over Arizona, Southern California, by the way. So I talk to my family on it sometimes. That's it. All right. This is Dave with Ham Radio GMRS Test and Review saying 73 and so long.